Welcome back. 20 minutes to 7 o'clock. One of my dearest friends has just literally flown back from the United States of America, chairman of the Republican overseas in the UK. Greg Swenson, how are you?
Great to be here, Jerry. A little tired, a little exhausted.
Listen, I'll put to you what I put to everybody. I did it live on Drive.
Yeah.
I did my best. I had goosebumps.
It was great.
I literally, I make no apology for this. I don't agree with all that he's said and done in the past. I think he's got flaws like we all have, but I think what he is authentic, and I think he presented to the American people the very things that they wanted to talk about. Cost of gas, cost of groceries, safety, security, borders.
Sanity,
all that stuff. And I'm sat there. Well, he nicked it off us. I'm thinking of suing him. He said, this is the common sense revolution. This is what talk's been talking about for ages, man.
He's been watching you,
Well, something's been going on. But on a serious note, when he talked about securing a national emergency announced on the southern border today, we just heard 1,000 troops already on their way. A man who instantaneously was seen as doing what he said he would do.
Yeah, it's fantastic. He really laid it out well. He was optimistic. He brought, an electric kind of energy to it, but also called out the radical left for what they've done to the country. And I thought he needed to do that. He needed to make, it was a little bit of a campaign speech in some ways, but he really laid out the problems, the challenges, but he wasn't too dark. He didn't just talk about how bad this country is right now. He talked about optimism. He talked about opportunity and how great America is. I thought it was brilliant.
It was calmer than I think people imagined. It struck me, even as he walked in, that he looked like this time round he knew where he was supposed to walk and what he was supposed to do.
He looks like he's been there before.
There looks to be authority. I mean, some of the things that came out, and you were there, when he said there are two sexes, which there are, I mean, literally, and then he's put all US government diversity staff on paid leave.
Yeah, it's done. I'm surprised it's paid leave, but and you've seen it already. Since the election, even before the election, you've seen the big banks, even here in the UK, have dropped DEI or in the process of dropping it. ESG is in the rearview mirror. There's so many great things going on that the rest of the world and the rest of the country have adopted, have embraced. So it's not just President Trump saying radical things. They're not radical, first of all. They're common sense. But also, he's led the charge, but I think a lot of the countries, surely in the private sector, have come around to really bringing an end to this.
Donald Trump isn't a pariah anymore, and the comeback is, by any standards, incredible. He talked about one thing that I go on about. I mean, I don't even get me on net zero in this country, but this obsession with wind farms, which won't work and will cost the need for us to go and basically import electricity to much bigger price. He literally pulls out of the Paris. Today, Ed Miliband said, you're wrong here, Donald Trump.
Hysterical.
It's unstoppable. No, it's been stopped already, you total Labour idiot.
He really is. And the mother of all oxymorons is the Minister of Energy Security and Net Zero. Like, it's just completely absurd. Let me remind the viewers that businesses in the UK pay 5 times what we pay in America for electricity. We're paying here in the UK 50% more than they're paying in Germany, which is a net zero ground zero.
And let's tell the audience absolutely categorically that net zero, which is interesting that we're leading the way as we only release 1% of the carbon dioxide in the world. We will end up with 3 times the bills because there won't be, it won't blow. Somebody texted me and went, but this weekend there's really strong winds. Yeah, and the wind turbines will blow down and they'll need to use electricity to make them right. I mean, the whole thing is a joke.
Dial into the coal grid.
Donald Trump seemed to talk about everything that resonated. I don't think in all of my time of being here I've ever had a response. The numbers of people, Greg, they were like, can we become the 51st state, please? Can we? I think Donald Trump's legacy, weirdly, in 4 years' time, will be that he's kick-started the fight back against ideological wokeism across the world.
Without a doubt. And the world is following. Unfortunately, here we don't have an election till 2029.
But I would never believe that there would be a conviction politician like that.
No,
Maybe Nigel?
But you don't need one. And it could
Don't you?
It could very well be Nigel. And Nigel was there. I saw him Friday and Saturday night. I didn't see him.
But you need somebody who's brave enough to stand up and go, you can say what you want, do what you want, and attack me, but this is my belief and this is what I'm going to do.
Absolutely. And it's working here. The people are are on board. Unfortunately, we have a government that's not. But, you know, Ed Miliband can stick with the net zero insanity all he wants, but guess who's paying for it? The working class, the businesses, the job creators, the private sector.
And they don't see it. This is what I find so frustrating. But what I also found fascinating about Trump was that he instantly did what he said he was going to do. He's deflected, sure he's made mistakes, but he's deflected a whole load of criticism, assassination attempts, court cases.
The indictments,
again, you know, people will say, oh, he's a rapist. Look,
no, he's not.
I mean,
you know,
and I
it's
just
absurd.
I know, and all of that is so easy. I was inspired by a speech that, I mean, just actually before you came in, I'm sure you picked up on this, around an hour ago, he posted on Truth Social. Have you seen this?
No.
I have to read this. I'm not looking to hurt Russia.
Oh, I did read that.
I love the Russia. I have to read it if you're just tuning in.
Please.
It's brilliant. I love the
brilliant.
Russian people, and we always had a very good relationship with President Putin. And this, despite the radical left's Russia, Russia, Russia hoax. We must never forget that Russia helped us win the Second World War. They lost lives. All of that being said, I'm going to do Russia, whose economy is failing, and President Putin a big favour, in capitals. Settle now and stop, in capitals, this ridiculous war. It's only going to get worse. If we don't make a deal, and soon, I will have absolutely no other choice but to put high levels of taxes, tariffs and sanctions on anything being sold by Russia to the United States and various other participating countries. Let's get this war, which never would have started if I were president, over with. We can do it the easy way, Putin, or the hard way. And the easy way is always better, trust me.
Yeah.
It's time to make a deal. No more lives should be lost. It's just goddamn refreshing.
It really is. It's honest. You know, for someone who the corporate media always says he's a liar and he's distant. No, if you want lying, listen to Joe Biden. But what he's done is he's been really transparent. You know, all of these executive orders were very well telegraphed. He campaigned on them. He's been talking about it since the election. It's fantastic, and he's right. Russia shouldn't be feared. They should be marginalized. The economy is in shambles. Biden did a great job of helping the Russian economy by being hostile to the U.S. energy market. That elevated prices, helped Putin, helped the mullahs in Iran. You know, so, you know, Biden did everything wrong. So far, President Trump's doing everything right. He's doing what he said he was going to do. It's fantastic to see.
Just go back to the inauguration.
Yeah.
Two things. One, as I'm watching Joe Biden and po-faced Kamala, I don't want to talk about her, or Hillary laughing. She's another one, isn't she? Yeah. She lost to him as well. I wanted to ask you about Joe Biden because I've got this overwhelming belief that this is right. I think he voted for Trump.
Oh, yeah.
I think he sits there and smiles, and I'll tell you why. I'm the only one that beat him. You got rid of me. She's crap. I'm off. Thank you very much indeed. He won't welcome home Donald when he met him on the steps of the White House.
Dr. Jill wore a bright red outfit on Election Day. They really dislike the Obamas. They surely dislike Kamala. There was a cold. You saw at Jimmy Carter's funeral. There was a real coldness between Dr. Jill, I like saying doctor, but she's not, by the way.
No.
There's a real coldness between her and Kamala, between her and Michelle Obama, really anybody.
What's that all about, the Michelle Obama no-show? Is it D-I-V-O-R-C-E?
Absolutely. You saw President Obama walking down solo, the only one.
Is that a divorce, or just hates Trump?
No, I just think that she just can't tolerate Trump, and really, there's just a dislike between all the establishment people, especially the Democrats, and President Trump and the First Lady. And she was rocking it, obviously, as usual. So it was just great to see. And you had a second point, though.
The other one was convicted U.S. Capitol rioter turns down Trump pardon. He, of course, pardoned 1,600 who were involved in the January 6 riots. Some people would say that's outrageous. Others would say that the charges were wrong, etc., etc. We must also not forget that Joe Biden pardoned his family. Do you know he did it whilst the inauguration was on?
It's unbelievable. 2 minutes before, you know, at 11:58 Eastern, when his term ended in 2 minutes, he does this knowing it might not get that much attention. It was really outrageous what he did. He pardoned his own family for any crime they might have committed. Why would you pardon someone if they were innocent?
His argument was Donald Trump's coming after them. My argument would be if they've done nothing wrong, why would Donald Trump be able to come after them?
And President Trump was very clear in his inaugural address that he is not going after political opponents. And the weaponization of justice is over. If they committed crimes, yes. And they obviously have committed crimes. The family made $27 million, not just by selling influence to our allies, but selling influence to our adversaries. The money came from China. There's bank records. This is not speculation. I was on with RTE the other day. This poor guy, Marxist, insisted that when I said there was peace and prosperity during Trump's first term, and he said, well, that's your opinion. No, there was peace and prosperity. Like, it's just fact. It's data, right? There were no new wars started. There were 2 under Biden. So the world became a mess. America became a mess. I think that's ended abruptly. If President Trump would if his Justice Department is, going after or aggressive about people who have actually committed crimes, so be it. But they will not be going after opponents just because they're opponents. Well, now Fauci's off the hook. The Biden family cartel is off the hook.
I wanted to say to you very quickly before we finish, I'm going to give you a challenge here. I reckon it'll be Trump for 4 years. I reckon it will be J.D. Vance for 8, and I reckon Barron Trump will be the youngest American president at the age of 30.
He's looking good.
He is. Listen, I should have come with you. We love having you on, Greg.
Next
we really
time.
appreciate you. Greg Swenson, thank you very much indeed. Thank you, my friend.